Hey everybody, welcome to NoDQ&A video right here on youtube.com/NoDQ&AW, and as always, NoDQ.com. Before I begin, I have an important announcement to make. This will be the final episode of NoDQ&A video. Until 2013, of course. This is the final episode for 2012 of NoDQ&A video. Yes, NoDQ&A video will continue into 2013. A lot of stuff happening in 2013. We got the Royal Rumble coming up. I'll be there in Phoenix. You can check out the coverage at NoDQ.com. And WrestleMania 29. So NoDQ&A video has got plenty of material going forward. And I got plenty of questions. I am still backed up. People have been asking me what's the URL. I've tried not to mention it so I can get through the questions I have. But if you want to submit a question, formspring.me/AaronRift. On that note, let's get right down to the questions. This first one comes from Styles BLKV. Would you say 2012 was the year WWE listened to their fans? CM Punk has been champ for over a year. Daniel Bryan has been a focal point. Ziggler is getting a big push, and we're seeing quite a few new faces. The IWC always complains, but WWE has delivered to me. Well, for WWE to stay in business, they need to listen to their audience. And despite what some people think, WWE does listen to the fans. WWE tries to cater to the fans and tries to give the fans what they want. But you have to keep in mind that WWE is trying to please the larger audience. WWE is trying to draw in as many people as possible and satisfy the mainstream audience of wrestling fans. So WWE is not always going to cater to the internet fans, the diehard fans. WWE is trying to have mass appeal. So you're not always going to get what you want if you're an internet fan, but WWE has definitely stepped it up this year, pushing CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, bringing in guys like Dean Ambrose, guys that have a large internet following. WWE knows they need to create new stars, and that's what they're doing. And the fact is, the internet fans are always going to find something to complain about. That's just the nature of the internet. Diehard fans, they're always expecting the best out of WWE. They have these high expectations, and when something happens, they're going to be critical about it. That's just the nature of being a diehard fan. You're always wanting your product to be as good as it can be. I know WWE is geared towards kids now, PG and all, but how atrocious is that Christmas Eve edition of Raw? In my opinion, this is rock bottom. This is as bad as it gets. Don't say it's always been geared towards kid and that it's just wrestling. Come on. This is awful. No defending. It wasn't a very good episode of Raw. I'm not going to try to deny that. I mean, it was a throwaway show. It was Christmas Eve. A lot of people aren't going to be watching, and the rating was very low. It was the lowest rated Raw since 1997, but a lot of people were expecting that. It's just Christmas Eve. A lot of people aren't going to be watching, and WWE just went out there and just did a little throwaway show. I mean, that's what it was, and I don't think it was meant to be taken seriously. I mean, they had Alberto Del Rio, who had just turned babyface, run over Santa Claus. I mean, it was ridiculous. I just think that the rule book was thrown out for 1 week, and WWE decided just to have some fun and just do goofy stuff, and they just need to have a television show put together. They just had to get through. They have to get through New Year's, and then once the New Year comes along and you have the new Raw with CM Punk and Ryback and The Rock coming back, WWE will get back to business. Doing things to build up towards Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. So expect the product to pick up, come the first Raw of 2013. Why does WWE keep debuting rookies as big names instead of building them up over time and pushing them when they're ready/deserve it, like it used to be? Who gives a F about Big E Langston? It reminded me of Mason Ryan's debut. Well, normally in WWE, they prefer to push guys slowly and have them pay their dues and work their way up the card. But right now, as I mentioned in the first question, WWE is really trying to develop new talent and push new stars. They know that in order for the company to thrive, they need to have new talent. They need to have new superstars. So this is really a period where WWE is trying to get some fresh faces in there, and that's what they're doing with the Shield and Big E, Langston, and all these guys have a lot of potential. I mean, they've done well for themselves in the WWE's developmental program and on the indie scene. So they, in a way, they have paid their dues, and now they're getting their opportunity. And WWE, it's good to debut these guys as stars right away, I think, because you know, the first impression is really important. I look back to when CM Punk debuted. They did a great job debuting him. He came out on that ECW at Hammerstein Ballroom, and the crowd was just going crazy for him. And the first night in, he came off like a superstar, and I think that that's important. You look at Chris Jericho's debut. The first night in, he was pushed at the level of The Rock, and people bought into him right away as something special. So, I mean, if you do that with the Shield and Big E, Langston, I think that it's good for their long-term careers to push them and make them something special right off the bat. This one comes from BJ Nation. Do you think it is time for Samoa Joe to jump ship to WWE? If so, who should he feud with upon his debut? I think that Samoa Joe has been wasted in TNA for years, and he's really just been a guy on the roster. He hasn't done much since 2008. I really feel that he could do well in WWE. You look at somebody like Umaga, who did really well. Samoa Joe has a lot of guys he can have great matches with, and he has a lot of guys in WWE that can vouch for him. CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, and just imagine Samoa Joe coming in WWE and having feuds with those guys. I mean, those would be great matches. And Samoa Joe, I think, is a guy that could easily come into WWE and right off the bat be a huge superstar. I mean, you could just have him come in, be a monster, and just have him kick ass. I think Samoa Joe would do great in WWE. Don't know why they haven't picked him up, why he hasn't gone to WWE. Maybe he's happy in TNA with what he's doing. Who knows? I don't know what the whole deal is between WWE and Samoa Joe and TNA, but I would love to see it. I would love to see Samoa Joe in WWE. He's in his early 30s, so he's still young. He still has several years ahead of him. Hopefully he gets himself into shape and has a run in WWE. I think that maybe he could be a bodyguard for CM Punk for a while. I mean, that was an idea that I brought up months ago when somebody asked me about Samoa Joe. What could WWE do with him? Have him come in, be CM Punk's bodyguard. That would be a great way to push him right from the get-go. There's a lot of things you can do with Samoa Joe in WWE, and WWE has always pushed the Samoan wrestlers over the years. Samoa Joe seems like an easy, a no-brainer for WWE. So we'll have to just wait and see. This one comes from Batman6934. All right, I know Kelly isn't much of a wrestler, but you and I know you put he here. You say that he is amazingly hot. Do you think she will be back anytime soon? It's possible, but the fact is, women in WWE, especially ones that are pushed mainly for their looks, are going to have a short shelf life. I mean, Kelly came in at a very young age. I think she was 19. She was either 19 or 20, like really young when she came into WWE. And WWE is always looking for younger, hotter women. So, once a woman gets into her late 20s, she's already past her peak. I mean, that's just the way it is, not just in WWE, but in the entertainment industry in general and modeling and all that. They're always looking for younger women to bring in. Now, if she had she had better wrestling skills, she would probably be around longer. But because she's mostly eye candy, WWE can easily replace her and just bring in another swimsuit model who's 19, 20 years old. And then bring them in at a lower cost too. I mean, the longer Kelly's in WWE, the more money she's going to demand. So WWE could just bring in a younger woman and pay them less. So I mean, that's just the way it is. Why did WCW announce the match results for WWF? What possible gains could they make by advertising their competitor? Well, Eric Bischoff's mindset was that since Raw was taped in advance, and back in that period, WWF actually taped a full month of Raw So Eric Bischoff would just announce the whole month's worth of WWF programming, just to basically brag about Nitro being live and Raw being a taped show. So I mean, that was the whole point behind that, was to make WCW seem like they were they were the bigger show, and they had the higher budget. They were live every week. Raw was taped, and there was really no point in watching Raw because it's just a tape show, and there was nothing. He would just act like these matches weren't even important either. He would just say, "Oh, Shawn Michaels beat the big guy with a super kick," that sort of thing. Just make it seem like WWF was nothing, and it was effective. I mean, at first, but by the time WWF got hot again, and the whole thing with Mick Foley winning the title from The Rock and Tony Schiavone giving out the results, by that point it was a bad idea, and that time it backfired majorly. But back in '95, it was cutting edge at the time. All right, this one comes from Anti-Stress Kid. Hi, Aaron. Who do you think will become the top heel in 2013? Randy Orton or Dolph Ziggler or CM Punk? I'm not going to say Dolph Ziggler because I really feel that at some point he's going to turn babyface and he's going to be huge. I mean, Dolph Ziggler has this huge following already. People already cheer for him. So I wouldn't say Dolph Ziggler. Randy Orton, there's all the talk about him turning heel again, and I think he's better as a heel than a babyface, but I just don't know if he'll be quite as good as CM Punk. CM Punk is just such a good talker, one of the best talkers in the business, and 2012 was his year as a heel, and I think it'll continue into 2013. I don't think anybody's going to be able to touch CM Punk. I think he's going to have another great year, and he'll be the top heel, I think. That's just my opinion. This is from NC McCully. At TLC, I saw a guy holding a Ziggler or Riot sign. So my question is, has there ever been an incident in which riots occurred over a wrestler winning a match? If there was more than one, which was the most chaotic? There really hasn't been a serious riot in wrestling in a long time. I mean, in the 90s, I remember there was a riot, but it didn't have anything to do with a match outcome. I think DX came out, and there was some deal where fans were throwing things into the ring, and Shawn Michaels just got pissed off and left the ring, and there wasn't a match. And at that point, the fans got really ticked off, and they were rioting, and it was crazy. Before that, you have to go back to maybe the 70s. I mean, back in a period when there were a lot of people that believed wrestling was real, and there were guys that would heels would go out there and they would cheat, bend the rules, and the fans were legitimately pissed off and thought that this guy was really breaking the rules. And there would be periods where fans would throw chairs into the ring, and wrestlers have talked about how they were stabbed by fans, and fans would try to fight them. So I mean, definitely during that period in the 70s, 60s, there were more incidences where there were riots and fans getting upset. But now pretty much everyone accepts wrestling as entertainment, and anybody that says they're gonna riot, just them being a fan, maybe people might get a little bit emotional and carried away, but I don't think if John Cena wins a big match and people say they're gonna riot, they're not gonna really riot. Just not gonna happen. That'll wrap it up for this edition of No DQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. Keep spreading the word on Facebook, Twitter, and I will see you next year, 2013, for more No DQ&A video.